Hello there once again, and welcome to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the Mayor of Oklahoma City, and this is our show for April 2012. In this first segment, we're going to concentrate on the Arts Festival, and we have the co-chairs here. Tom Walsh and Sue Hale are here, and they have been working not just last week and this month, but for many, many months on this particular event that comes up as an annual highlight for Oklahoma City. So welcome to the Mayor's Magazine, first of all.
Thank you.
The Arts Festival starts on a Tuesday, ends on a Sunday. It's in April. I think people are generally familiar with those details, but fill us in on this 2012 event, Sue. What makes this event different from those in the past?
Well, we build on what previous festival co-chairs have done, but this year Tom and I wanted to add a couple things, and one of the things we did was what we call Art on the Street. And those wonderful street banners that we use to advertise the festival. Well, we had festival artists do original art for the back of those banners, and then we were screen printing or whatever that is to put on the back of the banners, and then we're going to auction off that original art. And we have artists who were in festival from the 1970s on. So this is going to be such a fun event. And
how many of those banners will
there'll be 26.
Huh.
And so we will have 26 of our, some of them are in festival right now, and some of them are past festival artists. And I think our oldest might be 93. So we are thrilled to have them. And then I'll let Tom tell you about our new food event.
Okay.
The contest?
Yeah.
Yes. For the first time, we're going to be having awards for our festival food vendors. We have a panel of jurors, the food editor for the Daily Oklahoman, and a festival director from Denver, Colorado, and a third judge who will sample the food and select the best savory item, the best sweet item, and the best in show. Just to add a little competition to the already enjoyable food area of the festival.
And then the fun thing is we're going to put that online and have a People's Choice Award. So you all that come to the festival, you can pick out what your favorite food is and see how it matches up with those expert chefs.
In general, how many people come out and enjoy the Arts Festival every year?
Well, we have had at least 750,000 of what I call our closest friends for that 6-day festival. It is an amazing event for Oklahoma City, which is why we do it.
It's a little hard to tell the actual number because there are no restricted points of entry since our festival is free.
Right.
And you can enter from any street corner. And so the numbers we have are estimates based on observations of the crowd from up above the tower.
Yes, and the police help that too. They're great at just saying, that crowd is, so, but we think it's huge.
Okay.
And we know it's huge because we have great sales, and we also have a lot of families and have a lot of fun.
And how many artists will be coming this year?
There will be 144 of the professional fine artists. They have been juried in. That process started last fall, and they're fabulous. Tom and I are really, really pleased with the selection this year. We don't have anything to do with the jury. All of that is done by professional artists. That 2 of them we bring in, and then one was a local artist here that's very well known. And so we have 144 of those. And then on Saturday, we have a special event called the Youth Art Sale. And we have, again, a juried group of youngsters who can bring their art in and sell it at the pavilion in the Myriad Gardens. And that was started last year, and we just built on that this year. So we've got young artists, emerging artists, if you will, and then we've got our professionals.
And that 144 artists includes people working in all different media. We have 2D, 3D, watercolors, oils, wood, leather, just a little bit of everything. And the artists are all from all over the country. And in fact, this year we have one from Canada.
Do the artists report the sales to the people?
The sales are actually conducted through the Arts Council. So all of the sales are conducted at one of our art sales tents, and the artist share of the proceeds are remitted back to them through the Arts Council.
And is there a general trend that the artists take is growing in general?
It varies some from year to year. You know, a lot is dependent on the weather. And while all of our art is wonderful, it depends on who comes and finds the piece they need for their home or office. You know, a good weather year will generate larger sales and more revenue for the Arts Council to carry on all of its programs all the rest of the year. Opening night, Art Moves, which is presented by Devon Energy, the Storytelling Festival, the summer Twilight concerts. All of that's done primarily with funds that the Arts Council generates through the Festival of the Arts.
In general, Sue, do the same artists come back year after year, or is there some effort to try to get new artists in the mix?
We do have a procedure. They are juried in for 3 years, and then they have to re-jury. And so some of them don't make it back in. So we always have some new slots. So we have several new artists this year, which is really fun because then, you know, it really keeps it fresh. People get to see a lot of things that they've never seen before. We've got some real interesting booths that I think people will really love. And it also varies the price range. You know, people get this idea that you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. That's not really true. There is art there that you can buy for a very reasonable price and really get a young family, for example, started on collecting original art.
Now, last year was the first year in the new Myriad Gardens, and it was a little bit of a move-in process last year. Did we have a learning experience last year? Do you feel like this year will be a little bit simpler?
It should be. Of course, we didn't have the complete Myriad Gardens available last year because the redevelopment was still underway. And in the meantime, that block of Hudson has been remodeled and repaved as part of Project 180. There will be a little bit of a learning curve this year because of the new sidewalks and adjacent areas. The street is a little bit narrower. So we're going to have to adjust the placement of our tents to make sure we still have a fire lane available and room for the artists to move in and move out. But the gardens look wonderful, and we anticipate that's going to add tremendously to the experience at this year's festival.
Tom, where do you recommend people park when they come?
Oh gosh, I'd probably start with the Sheridan Walker parking garage, which is just a catty corner from the festival grounds. The former Bob Howard location along Reno, those lots I believe will be completely available. So there's really plenty of parking.
I would think there's more parking this year than there's been in almost any previous year.
Yeah, starting last year, really, the parking was easier than any year that I've been involved, and I've been doing this for over 25 years. There's also the Cox Center and plenty of street parking.
Right. The food always draws a lot of attention. What care is given from the committee about the food and trying to make sure that there's something for everybody?
Well, we have a food jury, which is the food committee, I have to tell you, for our volunteers is their favorite committee. So, like, if you're going to pick a committee to be on as a day chair for festival, you want to be on the food committee. Awesome.
Because you have to taste everything.
Absolutely. Isn't that awful? Anyway, we do jury the food in. There are, again, some folks that come back. We sort of have our signature strawberry Newport. That is festival, you know, it says festival to folks. But we do try to get a variety. You know, we call it International Food Row for a reason. You're going to find some very interesting and fun dishes there, and we keep the prices $8 and under. And then we have Mustard's Last Stand for the families that want hot dogs, you know, for their kids, and you can get chili pie for $3. So, you know, it's a great deal. You can feed your family and listen to great music. There's a great stage right there. But we take a lot of care. We have brand new food tents. This will be our second year with the new food tents, courtesy of the Inasmuch Foundation here in Oklahoma City. And people, you know, the food vendors really love that. They also partner with an art agency so that part of their proceeds help out an art agency that's part of the Arts Council.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. 144 artists, 31 food vendors, April 24th through the 29th.
You got it.
Weather's going to be absolutely perfect.
He says so.
Perfect weather.
Credit Tom Walsh with the weather, Sue Hale for all the hard work. We appreciate you guys, and please pass along our best wishes and our thanks to the many volunteers
Well,
that come out and
we
help.
appreciate the city too, Mayor, so thank your folks, because we couldn't do it without them.
We appreciate both of you. We'll be back with more of the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
Oklahoma City homeowners wanting to save money on their electric and gas bills by making their home more energy efficient can apply for a green home loan offered through the City of Oklahoma City. The loans are offered to Oklahoma City residents whose household income is $100,000 or less. Some of the energy efficient upgrades that can be made with a loan include installation of energy efficient windows or exterior doors, adding insulation to the attic and walls, or replacing inefficient window units with central heat and air. For more information about the loans, call the Community Action Agency at 232-0199.
I'm Lee Criswell with Street Maintenance. Help us while we repair your city streets. Please slow down and be alert in all work zones.
And welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett. In this segment, a fairly serious subject. We're going to talk about prescription drugs, specifically how you can better safeguard your prescription drugs and keep them getting out into the hands of someone else who doesn't have a prescription. With me is Lonnie Wilson. Lonnie lives in Oklahoma City. He's the president this year, though, of the National Community Pharmacist Association. Lonnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And also to discuss this issue is our drug unit commander for the police, Chris Woodruff. Chris, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Lonnie, tell us about how big a problem this is. Why should citizens of Oklahoma City be concerned about their prescription drugs winding up in the wrong hands?
Well, one of the studies that was done showed that 70% of those people from 12 years age and older that abuse prescription drugs, they obtain those prescription drugs from either their neighbor or their relative. And so we just want to make people aware that it is a problem, because a lot of people, truthfully, I wasn't aware how big a problem it was.
Yeah, I think I could be easily guilty myself, because you get a prescription drug and maybe you don't take the entire prescription, but you don't necessarily throw it away, or you don't necessarily dispose of it properly. It just sits on your medicine cabinet. Then people come to visit, young people, older people, people you know, sometimes people you don't know, and they're in your restroom, they're in the bathroom, they have access to the medicine cabinet. And proper disposal or proper, what's the right word? Wrong word.
Storage.
Storage.
Yeah.
Is so important. And Chris, how does this play into the police department's efforts? How do you all see this very serious issue?
We see it as a very serious issue. Like we've talked about, there's some studies out there that say 3 to 5 children, and this came from the Office of National Drug Control Policy, 3 to 5 children find it easier to get prescription medicines from their parents' medicine cabinets, and 1 in 7 abuse prescription medicine that they're obtaining from somebody's medicine cabinets around.
Yeah, because we're very aware that people can get addicted to prescription drugs, and maybe in the back of our minds we're wondering, where do they get them? And they might be getting them from our houses, and they might be getting them out of our purse. And then they show up at the pharmacy and they think they've lost them. They just can't remember where they put them. They're lost. They could have very well have been taken because someone was a little bit careless.
That is correct.
Lonnie, what's drawing the attention? Is this your organization is focusing on this?
Yes, we are working with Purdue Frederick and put together a program called Safeguard My Meds. And it's a tremendous educational resource. It's a website, safeguardmymeds.org. And you can get some really good information on how to manage your medications at home and how to store them properly and how to dispose of those medications.
Let's talk about the disposal issue, Chris. Is that something the police department cares about?
It is, and the City of Oklahoma City, through their household hazardous waste, have always held, or for quite a few years have held, a twice a year special collection day at the State Fairgrounds for tires, computers, and ammunition. And in October 2010, at that collection day, they invited our department to participate in taking back the prescription medications that citizens either unneeded, expired, or they just don't need them anymore, to dispose of them properly.
So is it wrong to just throw them away? Is that not encouraged?
We don't want them to throw them in the trash because they could end up in somebody's hands where we don't want them, and we definitely don't want them to flush them down the toilet as advice had been given in years past, because that would affect the water quality. So the best way to dispose of them is through one of the take-back programs that are available.
And they're generally in the spring and fall?
They're typically held every April and October. Our next one is held April the 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the State Fairgrounds.
Okay. Lonnie, how is this message being received when you're out explaining this to people? Or do they seem like they've been aware of this issue at all, and are they thinking to themselves, how can I help?
A little bit of a mixed reaction to that. Some people are aware but they're not doing it. And other people was, I've never thought of that. I really hadn't thought about prescription drug abuse. They think about drug abuse as illicit drugs, but not prescription drugs. And so I think it's a kind of a aha moment of, hey, I need to do my part.
Okay, what type of drug might be the type that could easily wind up in the wrong hands?
Well, they're primarily looking for oxycodone products and hydrocodone.
Pain reliever?
Pain relievers, narcotic pain relievers, also tranquilizers. And but all medications are very potentially dangerous when mixed improperly with other drugs, and certainly we've seen too many deaths in the state of Oklahoma as a result of that.
Chris, how's this being received? Are more people showing up at the opportunities to take care of to dispose of their drugs?
They are. The first time that we did it in October 2010, we collected about 225 pounds of prescription medication.
Gosh, that's much more than I would have guessed.
And the last one that we did this last October, if I remember correctly, we were close to 375 pounds. So it's great. The news is getting out there. More people are showing up to properly dispose of their medicines that they don't need. Is it your opinion that in Oklahoma City we have a more severe problem than the rest of the country, or about the same? What's your impression about our specific problem? I don't know what statistics are nationwide, but I don't think that ours would be any worse than anywhere else in the country. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing it more in young people or older people? Where are the trends? Typically the younger people. What are the secondary problems created from prescription drug abuse? I'm assuming that if a person becomes addicted, they could have all sorts of types of behavior that might have started from some innocent, beginning with a prescription drug. What we see a lot is when people become addicted to either illegal narcotics or prescription medications, is that they start engaging in other criminal activity, typically property crimes, to go ahead and get the money to purchase more. I see. So they're stealing money or stealing things they can turn into money because they have to feed their habit. That's correct. Well, if someone knows of someone who appears to have a prescription drug issue, what advice would you be handing out? Well, number one, obviously they need to seek treatment. And if family members concerned about that and think there's plenty of social avenues available for them to seek treatment. If individuals think that there's somebody that is engaging in criminal activity, then we have the narcotics hotline, tip line that they can contact, and we'll investigate it. All right. But Lonnie, I think we want to send the message out, especially to grandparents who may have grandchildren who visit occasionally, or the grandchildren's friends in their house. They really need to keep the prescription drugs in a locked cabinet. That is the message. That is the best place to put them. Most people, or many people, store their medications in the bathroom medicine cabinet, and that's the worst place to put it. Everybody knows that. A lot of folks will, like women, will put their medications in their purse, so it'll be readily accessible when they leave the home. And that's not always the best place to keep somebody those medications. Takes it out of the purse, and that person assumes they lost it somewhere. That's right. Yeah, I see the problem. Yeah. Lonnie, thanks very much for your work in this national organization, for representing Oklahoma City on the national level. Thank you for having me. We'll see if we can't get this word out. And Chris, thanks for you and the rest of your police department's work in this area. Thank you. All right, and I hope you learned something today. I know I did, about prescription drug prevention and how we in Oklahoma City can take a positive step forward in trying to keep these prescription drugs out of the wrong hands. We'll be back with more of the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
In Oklahoma, the sights and sounds of severe weather are all too familiar. Do you know what to do when you hear an outdoor warning siren?
I'm Frank Barnes, Oklahoma City Emergency Manager. In Oklahoma City, the sirens sound to warn you that weather conditions may produce a tornado.
That's your signal to take shelter and seek information about where severe weather could strike.
And remember, an all clear signal does not sound. Always monitor the weather conditions until the threat has passed.
Did you buy the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yep.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes.
The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Visit ready.gov.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. In this segment, we're going to be talking to Sean Caven, who is coach of the Oklahoma City University Kayak team and also the national team coach.
Hi,
Sean, welcome to the Mayor's Magazine.
Thank you.
And if you're wondering about the accent, Sean is originally from Scotland.
That's correct.
It is great to have you here and as a part of our presence on the Oklahoma River. Talk in general, if you would, about the sport of kayak and how it has had a growing presence in Oklahoma City.
I came here 3 years ago and we started off with just a sprint program for junior kayakers, and we only had at that point the Chesapeake building, which was a fantastic start to the development on the river. And now we've got the Devon Boathouse. That houses high performance kayaking, which is national team level athletes, and Oklahoma City University, which is the only university in the country that offers a scholarship for kayaking. We're also just started running junior programs, and we're running a series of open houses on the river for the next 4 or 5 weekends. So if you want to find out about that, if you go to our website, you can see the details on that.
Coming up here in April, we're going to have the Olympic team trials. Tell people what they can expect if they come out on Friday, April 20th.
What they can see on Friday, April the 20th is the potential for 2 athletes from the US to get nominated to the Olympic team in London. If they secure by winning the races then, they'll be nominated to become an Olympian, which is a big, big honour for anybody that wants to represent America.
And people can come out and watch from the side. What would the fan expect if they show up?
Turn up. The races that will be happening are 200 metres long, 500 metres long. They can turn up on the bank. It's free. Come along. You can meet the athletes. You can meet the coaches. Talk to them. Mingle in the crowd. It'll be quite an exciting atmosphere, and it's Friday night between 5 and 7.
How many athletes do you think will be drawn into Oklahoma City that weekend?
Probably we've got 2 elements that we're deciding here. One is the London Olympics, and then there'll be the Para Canoe World Championship selection. Para Canoe has got to be in the Olympics in 2016, but in order to start developing the sport, the governing body has now got a team, and we're sending a team to Poland to the World Championships for Para Canoe as well.
Tell me about the OCU kayak team.
That's been going for 2 years. I can offer scholarships for kayakers around the country to come to Oklahoma City, study, continue on in their career as a kayaker and get an education, which is important. And that allows us to keep kids in the sport who would probably drop out of the sport because they need to get an education.
Right. That's not a sport that every university offers a team. Whom do you play?
We've got a couple of teams. We're actually hosting the national championships here in Oklahoma for the first time in May. And most of the other, we've got Stanford, Georgia Tech, and a couple of universities in Seattle will be the main competitors that we've got this year.
That's great. And how many canoe and kayakers do you have from Oklahoma City? I would assume with the new facilities that we're growing the sport here locally.
Yeah, we're growing the sport locally. We've got one boy from Jones, Dylan Puckett, who's actually the national champion at under 16. He's only 15. He's been our sort of #1 new kayaker. We've got a few imported kayakers from around the country who've came here because USA Canoe Kayak's now got its headquarters here. So we've got probably 14 athletes in full-time training at the High Performance Centre, and then we've probably got a junior program with around 30-40 kids in it right now. But we're hoping to expand that up to a couple of hundred.
What type of physique does a coach look for when he's searching for an athlete who might be a good kayaker already or might be trained into one?
I'm just looking for anybody that's athletic. The difference between kayaking and some other sports is because your body's supported in the water, your actual physical shape doesn't really matter too much.
Do the length of arms matter at all?
It's obviously an advantage if you've got longer arms, but we've got shorter people who are extremely good at it because they can turn over their hands a lot faster.
Shoulders
than a
and
taller
biceps important?
Yeah, it's a whole body sport. So I'm looking for an all-round athlete, really, because there's a lot more legs and trunk movement than people actually believe there is in general. So a good athlete will be good at kayaking, and it can help in a number of other sports as well. Like in particular in Canada, the kids that play ice hockey in the winter, they kayak in the summer, and they go back much better hockey players in the winter than they do if they didn't kayak in the summer.
The sport is still open to amateurs who might not ever want to compete, but might just want to get out on the water. Explain the openings for people in Oklahoma City who just might want to come out and rent a kayak and enjoy the
We've got two locations that we currently manage, which is the downtown location, Chesapeake Boathouse, and then we've got out at Lake Overholser, we've got the Route 66 Boathouse, and you can rent a kayak there for $12 an hour anytime you want when the facilities are open, which is Monday through Sunday.
By the way, I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And if I can do it, rest assured that anybody can. It feels safe. You know, I think before I had experienced it, I thought, it might be dangerous. I've seen kayaks on the Olympics and they turn over.
Yeah.
These kayaks are very unlikely
They're very, very
turn
stable.
over,
You really have to try.
I don't think I could have turned it over if I had chose to.
You won't turn them over. And we've got a variety of different boats for different skill levels and different types of people. So you can come and you can pick and choose what you want, and we've got staff there that can advise you what to take.
And along with the trials that are coming up this April, what else is on the calendar for this year?
Once the trials are done, we've got a number of competitions. One is 2 World Cups in Europe, which will be for the Olympic hopefuls to race against the best in the world before the Olympics. Then we've obviously got the Olympics itself. For the people that don't make the Olympics, we've got a couple of races in Canada and then in Lake Placid, which will be towards 2016.
And with MAPS 3 becomes a whitewater facility that we're going to be constructing. Tell Oklahomans what they can expect there.
What you can expect there is basically a natural river in an urban environment. So you'll get a course that is Olympic level, but you'll also have a course that the average beginner can just start on, which will be smaller, less intimidating whitewater, and it'll be a fantastic facility. I was lucky enough to see the one in London 2 months ago, and I think it'll be one of the best things that's ever happened to the city.
I agree, and it won't be that long before that's put through the process. It's one of the first MAPS 3 projects to come forward. Well, Sean, we appreciate all your work, and certainly you're not necessarily a newcomer to Oklahoma City anymore, but we certainly are glad you're here. And I know you're helping the sport of kayak, and you're certainly helping the citizens of Oklahoma City get the most out of their investment on the river.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
All right. Sean Caven is the head kayak coach at Oklahoma City University, also serves on the national team coach. And the Olympic trials are coming to Oklahoma City on the Oklahoma River Friday night, April 20th, and they'll have some other events out there that following day on Saturday. So, Sean, good luck, and we'll be passing along our best wishes to all the athletes. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Mayor's Magazine, or this month's edition. Hope you'll be back next month, and we have another show. We'll see you then.
Could you stand a little fun in your life? Then look no further. The Oklahoma River Cruises tour the beautiful Oklahoma River. You can enjoy a fun-filled, family-friendly, climate-controlled adventure you won't forget, offering public cruises, exciting theme cruises, and private cruises tailored to your needs. Book your fun-filled cruise today. Log on to okrivercruises.com. Oklahoma River Cruises. Get on board.